Okay, Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. Okay, today I will teach you on the topic 4, which is regulatory framework of Islamic financial institutions, which is in local and international. I think untuk this chapter, all of you dah buat video presentation. So I just want to explain briefly. I will explain not too detail sebab nanti video-video yang you dah buat, you yang present the video presentation, I will post in our Google Classroom so you can learn apa yang kawan you dapat info daripada assignment yang I dah assign tu. Okay, so now this chapter I will not explain in detail. So untuk you tahu this chapter lagi detail untuk the function of the Bank Negara Malaysia, the function of SC which is Security Commission Malaysia, and the others yang authorities yang saya dah bagi, you boleh tengok on the video presentation yang I will put it in the Google Classroom. Okay, so let me start now. Okay, in this chapter, you will learn on the regulatory framework of Islamic financial institution, local and international. So, you akan tahu apa framework yang kita akan pakai untuk IFIS ataupun Islamic financial institutions untuk local and international. So, this is what you will learn on this topic. This is the introduction. You have to know what is the difference between IFIS, which is IFIS stand for Islamic Financial Institutions, dengan conventional bank. Apa perbezaan dia adalah adherence to Shariah principle. Maksud dia, IFIS will follow to the Shariah principle. However, conventional bank, dia tak follow the Shariah principle. As sebelum ni kita ada belajar yang conventional bank, dia akan tawarkan riba, maisir and gharar. Which is, these three types is prohibited transaction in Islamic accounting. So, diorang tak boleh buat apa-apa yang melanggar daripada syariah itu selalu dibuat oleh conventional bank. Tapi IFIS dia more focus on the syariah principle. Okay, so who are responsible? It is a responsible of Shariah advisors. So, Shariah advisor ni yang dia akan menasihatkan IFIS untuk follow the Shariah principle. In case kalau diorang ada satu case, contoh IFIS, Islamic Financial Institution menghadapi satu masalah yang diorang tak dapat tangani, jadi siapa yang akan bagi advice adalah Shariah advisor. So Shariah advisor ni adalah orang yang berpengetahuan tentang syariah dan diorang ada ilmu mengenai Al-Quran dan Sunnah. Jadi diorang boleh consider as Shariah advisors. Okay, so the specific regulatory framework therefore is important in ensuring that the operation of IFIS conform to Shariah principle. Jadi dalam topik ni kita kena think is we have to follow the Shariah principle. Jadi kita kena ada specific regulatory framework. So kita nak tengok apa framework yang kita kena follow. Okay, this is the example of the Islamic financial institution in Malaysia. Okay, so apa IFIS dalam Malaysia kita boleh consider as these three: Islamic, Takaful and Islamic Capital Market. Okay, apa beza dia? Islamic lebih kepada atas urus niaga Islamic. Kalau Takaful lebih kepada insurance, and Islamic Capital Market lebih kepada saham. Maksudnya capital market yang ada tapi have to follow with the Shariah. So sebab ni ada Islamic capital market. Okay, so these three types are included in the IFIS, Islamic Financial Institutions. So these three adalah di dalam Islamic Financial Institution. So you can call this as IFIS. So this, kalau you nak tengok, this have been pecahan. Maksudnya dalam Islamic Bank ada these three types, so you can read by yourself. Okay, so this is the overview of Islamic financial sector in Malaysia. So what you can learn here, macam mana Islamic financial sector ditubuhkan di Malaysia. Okay, pada tahun 1963, kita dah wujudkan Pilgrimage Fund Board. Apa ni? Ini adalah lembaga tabung haji. So, tabung haji dah ditubuhkan pada tahun 1963. So, ini can make sure yang diorang tak terima interest untuk banking sector. That's why this is interest-free banking scheme. So, diorang tak terima apa-apa interest ataupun diorang tak tawarkan, tak kenakan interest kepada customer dia. So, ini yang dimaksudkan sebagai interest-free banking scheme. Jadi, bila wujudnya tabung haji, Malaysia ada satu inisiatif untuk wujudkan Islamic Bank on 1983. So, bila dia nak tubuhkan Islamic Banking, dia juga berfikir untuk membuka takaful. Jadi, during this time, Malaysia dah ada inisiatif untuk menjalankan Islamic financial institution. So, dengan cara macam mana diorang wujudkan Islamic Bank? So, waktu 1983, diorang wujudkan Islamic Banking Act, allowing Islamic Bank to be established. So, on this time juga wujudnya Bank Islam. Bank Islam Malaysia, tapi dia under Companies Act, which is 1965 under supervision of BNM. Pada tahun 1994, wujudnya Bank Muamalat juga, which is provide untuk Islamic banking, and the others foreign Islamic bank wujud selepas tahun 2003. Tapi, bila on this time, diorang menghadapi kesukaran bila bank untuk Islamic bank tak banyak. Maksudnya, customer lebih prefer on the Islamic banking sebab untuk elakkan daripada menerima interest yang tinggi, daripada kena bayar riba kepada conventional bank. Jadi, customer banyak choose Islamic bank. Disebabkan Islamic bank kurang, jadi apa yang Malaysia buat? Dia tawarkan conventional bank untuk offer Islamic Windows. Maksudnya Islamic Windows ni, dia tawarkan conventional untuk buat satu produk baru yang Islamic banking juga. Contoh, Maybank, which is conventional bank, dia produk untuk Islamic, dia akan produce satu iMaybank ke iMaybank, which is Islamic Maybank. So, conventional, it's still conventional, tapi dia ada provide Islamic bank. Okay, so bila tahun 2005, Islamic subsidiary juga dah diwujudkan dan dimasukkan under Islamic Banking Act pada tahun 2005. So, this is macam mana the flow of wujudnya Islamic Bank. On 1994 juga, ICM baru wujud pada tahun 1994. Maksudnya, ICM ni lebih kepada kita punya capital market. So, capital market, kalau nak ikutkan, ada sesetengah forex yang dilarang sebab ada unsur gharar. Tapi disebabkan kita nak ada satu capital market, jadi Malaysia buat satu Islamic capital market. So dia introduce the Islamic capital market to ensure yang orang luar dapat invest dalam kita punya market on the Islamic way lah. So itu kenapa Malaysia produce atau introduce ICM ataupun Islamic Capital Market ataupun Islamic Money Market. Okay, so next is regulatory authorities for IFIS. So, apa regulatory authorities? Maksud dia, pihak-pihak yang berkuasa terhadap IFIS, terhadap Islamic Financial Institutions. So, pihak dia yang terlibat, yang menguruskan Islamic Bank dan Takaful adalah Bank Negara Malaysia and Labuan Financial Services Authority. So, yang ni apa function dia kita akan go through one by one. Okay, so siapa yang in charge with the Islamic Capital Market? It is Security Commission Malaysia, Labuan Financial Services Authority and Bursa Malaysia. Okay, it means that LFSA, Labuan Financial Services Authority, boleh menjalankan dua-dua. Dia boleh regulate Islamic Bank dan Takaful dan ICM juga for dekat Labuan. Okay, so next. Okay, this is just a brief, it's not too detailed on the what is Bank Negara Malaysia. So, apa yang you tahu kata is established on 1959 under Central Bank of Malaysia Act 1958, which is right now is 2009. And then responsible for supervision and regulation of banking institutions and insurance companies, and the last one Takaful companies, which is under Takaful Act 1984, Governor BNM as Director of General of Takaful. So, apa tugas Bank Negara adalah supervise and regulate banking institution and insurance company. So, this is the responsibility of Bank Negara. So, dia kena focus and supervise banking dan insurance. Sebab tu yang dia ada authorities terhadap Islamic banking and Takaful. Okay, so next is Security Commission. As you can see here, it's established on 1 March 1993 under Securities Commission Act 1993. So, it is self-funding statutory body that reports to Minister of Finance in Malaysia. So, dia tugas SC adalah untuk report kepada Minister of Finance in Malaysia. So, nak report tentang apa? Monitoring activities of market institutions. This one. For example, Bursa Malaysia license under Capital Market and Service Act 2007 and protecting investor, promote and develop securities and future market in Malaysia. Okay, this one is their responsibilities. So, SC ataupun Securities Commission, dia fokus kepada Islamic Capital Market. Next is Labuan Financial Services Authority ataupun kita boleh panggil as LFSA. It's set up on 15 February 1996 under LFSA Act 1996. Any entity that transacts Islamic transaction that is Shariah compliant must comply with the provision of Labuan Islamic Financial Services and Security Act 2010. So, apa-apa transaction yang berkaitan dengan Islamic, Syariah kena Shariah compliant must comply with the provision of Labuan Islamic Financial Services and Security Act. So, apa-apa yang berkaitan dengan Islamic transaction, it must be comply with the provision. Itu yang dibuat ataupun responsibility of LFSA. Sebab tu LFSA ni dia ada dua authorities ataupun dia diberi kuasa untuk dua IFIS, which is for Islamic Banking and Takaful and Islamic Capital Market. Okay, next is Bursa Malaysia. So it is an exchange holding company approved under Section 15 of CMSA, offer a complete range of exchange-related services including trading, clearing, settlement and depository services. Okay, Bursa Malaysia, dia ada authorities terhadap Islamic Capital Market. Kenapa? Sebab Bursa Malaysia, yang kita tahu Bursa Malaysia dia uruskan mengenai saham. Jadi apa-apa yang berkaitan dengan investor, berkaitan dengan capital market, Bursa Malaysia ada authorities ataupun dia ada kuasa. Jadi apa yang Bursa Malaysia ada juga dalam IFIS, which is Islamic market offered by Bursa, including Bursa, Suk Al-Silak, Shariah Compliant Securities, Sukuk, Islamic Real Estate Investment Trust, and Shariah Compliant Exchange Traded Funds. So, Bursa Malaysia juga dia ada menamakan transaction Islamic yang boleh untuk Shariah Compliant boleh pilih. So, sebab tu dia ada authorities dalam Islamic Capital Market. Okay, Bank Negara Malaysia dah keluarkan Malaysia Accounting Standard Board. Why Bank Negara Malaysia ataupun BNM has come out with this MASB? Because it is to develop and produce accounting and financial reporting standard in Malaysia, so that satu Malaysia have a standardized financial reporting. So sebab tu BNM ada keluarkan MASB. So apa function MASB dengan IFIS? So dalam MASB, Malaysia dah formulate Islamic standard. Okay, kenapa kita kena formulate Islamic standard? Initially, we have to have Islamic standard sebab kita nak biar Islamic transaction tu standardized dari cara reporting, dari macam mana kita nak trade the Islamic transaction itself. So we have to standardize. Okay, so apa yang dikeluarkan oleh BNM pada tahun 2001, MASBI 1 dah keluar on the presentation of financial statement of Islamic financial institutions. Research indicate that conventional accounting concept and principles should be applied to the Islamic financial transaction and events. Staff Research and Shariah Advisory Committee ataupun kita boleh panggil as SAC of BNM sees issuing Islamic Accounting Standard. Issue document that discuss the application of MASB standard to Islamic transaction. Okay, so ini adalah benda-benda yang dibincangkan di dalam Islamic standard. Jadi, diorang dah bincang on the how to trade the Islamic accounting transaction, macam mana nak report the Islamic transaction. So, everything have been stated in this MASBI. Okay, so we can for Shariah advisors of IFIS, untuk each authorities dalam BNM ke, LFSA, dalam SC, dalam Bursa Malaysia, we have the Shariah advisors. So, apa yang you kena tahu dalam Shariah advisors, as we know that IFIS terbahagi kepada 3, tapi Islamic Bank and Takaful we conclude as 1. and ICM, which is Islamic Capital Market. Okay, so apa yang terlibat dalam Islamic Bank yang kita tahu ada BNM, ada LFSA, which is Labuan FSA, and then untuk ICM pula ada SC, LFSA and Bursa Malaysia. So, ini adalah orang-orang yang berbeza. Syariah advisors untuk each BNM, LFSA, dia orang yang berbeza. Jadi, kalau untuk Syariah advisors untuk BNM, we call as SAC, which is Shariah Advisor Committee. But untuk SSC adalah Shariah Supervisor Committee. And dia ada juga anak-anak dia, which is Shariah Committee in IFIS and Shariah Committee in IFIS. Untuk Security Commission ada Shariah Advisor. So, kalau you nak tahu more detail on this Shariah Advisor of IFIS, you boleh refer on the article that I have give to you in the Google Classroom. Yang article, if I'm not mistaken, is only have 11 page. So, you boleh refer on the article. Article tu give more explanation on what is Shariah Advisors, apa function Shariah Advisors dekat BNM, dekat LFSA, through Security Commission, through Bursa Malaysia. So you will get more detailed explanation if you read the article that I have provided. Okay, so next. There are some issues relate to the Shariah advisors. Dia ada isu juga yang berkait dengan Shariah advisors. The first is, each authorities body has its own Shariah advisors, concentrate and specialist and harmonization process in Shariah matters in Islamic financial system. So ini adalah isu-isu yang relate to Shariah advisors. Next is, okay, tadi yang kita belajar adalah local, IFIS untuk local. Sekarang kita fokus on IFIS in the international. Okay, basically, it is untuk development IFIS di international. It has more than 200 Islamic financial institutions operating in various parts in the world, and the value of their combined asset is excess of USD 200 billion. So, ini adalah the value of the asset yang ada di negara-negara luar. Jadi, sebab itulah wujudnya international IFIS. So, kejap lagi kita akan masuk apa nama agensi yang terlibat dalam international IFIS. Okay, but we have to think, bila kita nak menjalankan IFIS di negara-negara luar for international, dia ada some challenges. Apa yang challenges? Tak semua negara yang ada Islam yang boleh terima kewujudan Islam, yang boleh menerima untuk Islamic accounting, untuk adopt dekat negara tu. Jadi, this is some the challenges of IFIS. First, the tragic event of 11 September 2001, which is undermine the image of Islamic bank, terrorist and money laundering. So, disebabkan kes ataupun event 11/9/2001 ni, kita dah ada satu image yang buruk, which is terrorist. And then, orang kalau negara-negara luar akan think yang kita adalah teroris, and yet kita ada terlibat, Islam ada terlibat dengan money laundering. Itu adalah a part of the challenge of the Islamic financial institution. So, yang mana yang ada financial institution dekat contoh Islamic bank yang ada di negara-negara overseas, di negara UK, US. So, itu adalah bad image yang buruk kepada Islamic bank. So, diorang tak dapat nak survive sebab berlakunya event tu. Jadi, The next challenges is action and response taken by a number of institutions to improve image of the business. So, bila kita macam if we think kita as a Islamic bank, kita tak boleh simply ambil macam menjalankan transaction yang berlawan dengan syariah ataupun berlawan dengan principle of syariah. Jadi itu adalah benda yang dilarang. Tapi bila itu adalah satu challenges bila I face in international. Bila in international, they have to think how to improve on their image of the business rather than to follow the Shariah principle. Itu adalah the challenges. And the third is financial stability, proper regulation and supervision, and the last one, uniform standard. Ini juga you can read in the article yang I dah letak dalam Google Classroom. So dia juga ada explain a little bit on this matter. Okay, so what is international regulatory framework of IFIS? So in apa wujudnya authority untuk international regulatory? Okay, this one you might think or you might read by yourself. So we go through. First, untuk international, IFIS adalah Accounting and Auditing Organization for the Islamic Financial Institution, or we call as AUFI. AUFI ni sebenarnya it based in Bahrain and were first introduced in 1993. The countries where AUFI standards are either mandatory or recommended include Bahrain, Malaysia, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Lebanon, Syria, Sudan and Jordan. So AUFI standard ni ada sesetengah negara yang diwajibkan, ada setengah yang direkomendkan. Kalau in Malaysia, we are not mandatory to use the AUFI standard. So, mungkin di negara-negara lain, it is a mandatory. Contoh in Bahrain, mungkin dekat negara Bahrain, they have to follow the AUFI standard in the accounting, in the Islamic accounting, Islamic financial institution. So they have to follow the AUFI standard. But in Malaysia, we are not mandatory, but it's only recommended. Prior to the implementation of AUFI standard, many financial institutions in this country were operating under semi-regulated market, where accounting policies were determined with the assistance of the Bank Shariah Supervisory Board. So ini adalah past researcher yang do the research state here. Okay, so next is the International Islamic Rating Agency, which is it scrutinizes Shariah aspect of financial institution and their product to ensure comply with the Shariah requirement. Agency will use AUFI accounting standard, which therefore contribute toward the goal of ushering in a sound and strong Islamic financial system. It also creates a higher degree of confidence and acceptability of product among the players in the industry. Okay, this one, the International Islamic Rating Agency, dia more kepada to ensure the comply of Shariah requirement. Yang ni adalah satu. But it's follow to the AUFI accounting standard. So that bila dia ada satu standard yang tetap, dia boleh standardize and indirectly dia akan make sure yang dia punya Islamic financial system akan jadi more strong. Itu adalah function of the International Islamic Rating Agency. Okay, the last one for the regulatory framework for international, which is the Islamic Financial Services Board, which is IFSB. It is based in Malaysia and operates since 2002. Apa yang IFSB buat, dia lebih kepada memenuhi the special guideline untuk regulation and supervision of Islamic bank. So dia try untuk buat guideline untuk macam mana cara untuk regulate and supervise the Islamic bank. So dia akan make sure yang bank dengan financial institution dalam Islam have a proper regulation and supervision. So ini function untuk Islamic Financial Services Board. Okay, so I have explained apa yang terlibat dalam regulatory framework untuk local and international. So I hope that everyone yang buat video presentation really understand what is the function untuk regulatory framework untuk local and international, so that you can figure out what is the differences with BNM, Security Commission, IFSA and Bursa Malaysia. So you akan lagi more easier untuk differentiate between the different authorities. And untuk increase your knowledge, I would like to put your video presentation into the Google Classroom. I think I want to post in the YouTube, but we have two classes. I have teach for two classes, which is 5M and 5N. So I think I will post the video in the Google Classroom so that everyone can see and can understand what your friend would like to explain more detail on what the objective of the authorities, what the responsibility towards the IFIS. So nanti I nak everyone take a look on the video yang kawan you dah buat. So dengan video yang kawan you buat, you boleh lagi tambah lagi ilmu yang on this topic lah. And then if there's no question, I will stop here. And anything yang you tak faham on this video, I hope that you ask me privately or you can ask me in the group WhatsApp so that I will explain to you in more detail. And I think that's all. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.